12 years old. Give her everything, just shot of the world. Can I get a grip every time? I tried to hold on, I slip deep in this feeling that gravity pulls me down. I know I'm tripping.
So 2 weeks ago, I bought this car from Mannheim Auction. I bought it as a non-runner. It got towed back to our lot. And now, after 2 weeks of putting some working on it and test driving it and getting the windows tinted and all that, it's finally ready to go on the fleet and make money. But what made me want to get an Inop vehicle, a non-running vehicle, as opposed to just buying a car that's already running? If you guys have been following my channel for a while, you would know that's how I started my Turo business in 2018. I was going to the auctions, I was buying cars that were running, some of them were non-runners, and actually the non-runner cars were actually my best return on investment because I get them a lot cheaper and I'm able to buy engines and transmissions with good miles on it and pretty much put the car back together. So if you're somebody who has access to a good mechanic, if you're somebody who has access to a good body shop, whether you're involved in the business or it's a family or a friend, then you definitely want to be putting these non-runners back together, listing them on Turo to make income. This car, for example, I'm aiming to get my money back in 6 months. I purchased it from Mannheim for $4,000. After fees, towing fees, everything, I was into it for about $4,600. So at the time when I'm buying it, it's not certain if it's an engine or a transmission, because a lot of these cars, you go to the auction, they don't turn over, they don't start. So it's better to just bid on it and check the prices for the engine and the transmission. So in this case, it turned out to be a transmission. By the way, this is a 2016 Ford Fusion. It does have the 2.5 liter motor in it. I would not suggest buying the 1.5 or the 1.8, or I mean the 2.0 turbos. Really, I stay away from turbos altogether, but this is the most reliable engine you can buy in this car, which is a 2.5. So it did need a transmission, and I could have gotten a transmission for $500 if I was aiming for the cheapest transmission. But since the car only has 88,000 miles on the dash, I kind of wanted to put a transmission in it that I could use for, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna run this car for like 3 years. It only has 8,000 miles on the dash. So I ended up spending a little bit more on a transmission. I spent $900, but that transmission comes with a 3-year warranty. So I'm good for 3 years. I don't have to do that again. So I ended up spending $900 for it. I end up tinting the windows and putting brakes and rotors on it. So I'm into this car, everything, for right under $6,000. So now I know you're looking around saying, well, I could buy one of these for $6,000. Well, when I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, you can get the 1.5s and the 2.0 turbos for cheaper. These 2.5s go a little bit higher, but like I said, this car only has 80,000 miles on the dash. So you can find one running for maybe $7-8 grand, but the miles are gonna be a little bit higher. You still might be able to luck out and get one that's Turo eligible. So if you can find a 2.5 liter Ford Fusion, engine, transmission, good condition, if you can get it for $7,000 or less, these are pretty good money makers. People rent them, they look good, they're good on gas. It's all just a matter of maintenance. It's worth the risk if your market supports it. So my market does support it because I just added a 2017 Ford Fusion Hybrid about 2 or 3 months ago, and it looks identical to this vehicle. You can't even tell the difference. And that vehicle is doing great on Turo. I've even had 1 or 2 direct rentals that I was charging the guests about $60 a day, which is a great price. It was somebody that I knew, but on Turo, I'm listing that car for about $48 to $55 a day. It just varies based on what's going on, if it's the weekend or a holiday. But the car is constantly gone because, like I said, it looks good, it's good on gas. Just don't get the one with the turbo on it. So right here, this is the final process, the final part of listing a vehicle for me. A lot of times I take it to the warehouse in the back of our building and I'll do pictures over there. But if I'm in the area, I love coming to a scenic park like this one, where you get to see the lake, you get to see the trees, little ducks over there waiting to be fed. It just makes the picture look a lot better. And I don't know if the pictures make that much of a difference. I mean, good pictures do make a difference, but whether you're taking good pictures in the back of a warehouse or you're taking good pictures in the park, for my market, my cars that I take the pictures at the warehouse, they still get rented, but these pictures do come out looking a lot better. So I would suggest just take the extra time and get real good pictures. If you do have a scenic location like this, go ahead and lock that down. So people are trying to come over here now. I'm gonna run back to the shop. Let's finish this up over there. And there's always people that's like, yo, well, yeah, it's easy for you to do that because you got a dealer license. So let me tell y'all this. I got people that literally book a call with me, ask me, how can I get access to the dealer auction without having a license? And I show them 1, 2, 3 steps, which the most common way is finding a smaller dealer or a broker, working out a set price that you're gonna pay to get access to the auction, pay them per vehicle, and all of a sudden you have access to the auction. It's not really that hard. But the people who always have excuses for everything, like you always have a problem for every solution, then you're gonna have a roadblock anyway, no matter what direction you move in. But you don't have to go to the auction to be able to get these deals. Have you looked on Facebook Marketplace? You see a bunch of listings. It's like mechanic specials. I have one right now that I'm looking at. If it wasn't about an hour and a half away, I would already probably pick this car up. It's a 2014 Honda Accord. It says right on the listing it needs a transmission. It's listed for, I think, $4,500, and it's been on Facebook for like a couple months. So I know if I go over there with about 35, the seller will most likely take it. Now the transmission for that vehicle is $1,500. Yes, it does need a little paint job on the front fender, but I could still be into that car for less than $7,000. Now, that is actually a better deal than this Fusion. Even though the Fusion looks better, the Fusion got less miles, so that's why I did go with the Fusion. But I'm still gonna get that Honda if it's available in another week or two when I'm done with this and I'm done with the next car I'm working on. Because let me tell you why I'm gonna get that Honda. The Honda has a higher resale value on it. This car right now, when I enter into Mannheim, the high end on the resale value is like 85. So let's just say that I rent this car out and something happens to this vehicle, it gets crashed. Yes, I'm gonna get $8,500, but let's take that 2014 Honda Accord that maybe I could have been in for the same exact price. Let's say I'm into the Honda for $7,000. If that Honda crashes, I'll probably be getting like 12 grand for that. So before I end this video, there's a big part of this whole process that I forgot to even mention. So let me elaborate on that. What I do before I buy any of these vehicles, it doesn't matter if it's from Facebook or if it's from the dealer auction, I always take the VIN number and create the listing on Turo before I even entertain looking up an engine, looking up a transmission, looking up the cost of a vehicle, all those. Before I start running numbers, I enter the VIN into Turo and make sure that the vehicle can be listed. Now, it does seem like a hassle up front, but if you ever bought a vehicle for Turo just to find out the vehicle is not eligible, then you'll realize that this is not actually a hassle, it's actually a necessity. Because the vehicle, even though I'm buying it from the auction, it's a non-running vehicle, it needs an engine, this vehicle needs a transmission, but the title is clean, it's not branded. No salvage, no rebuild, no flood, no manufacturer buyback, none of that. Especially when you're buying from the auction, you gotta make sure it doesn't say TMU, True Miles Unknown, because that means most likely the title will say odometer discrepancy, which will not work on Turo. So before you even do any of that, enter the listing in there, make sure you can actually use the vehicle for what you intend to use it for. Or you're gonna be stuck with like a $10,000 car that you can't do nothing with, and you know, nobody might be able to buy that car because it's $10,000. Now you're stuck with the car, what you gonna do? So you gotta make sure that you don't skip this step, it's very important. Now, even if the title's not branded, you still wanna look it up, you still wanna put it on Turo, because here's why. There's hosts out there who, they get banned from the platform for one reason or another. I'm not gonna touch on that in this video, but when those hosts get banned, all the vehicles in their fleet are also banned from Turo. So what are these hosts gonna try to do? Sell the car. They're gonna try to get it off. Now let's say you, as a new, inexperienced host, see a great deal on the car, and now you think about making money with the car, just to list it and find out that it can't be listed. And even if you call Turo, they're not gonna allow you to do it, because think about it, if I'm a host and I get banned from Turo, I'm just gonna find other little dud people to list it under their profile just so the car keep making money. So Turo is already hip to this. So it doesn't matter what you say, who you talk to, they're not gonna let you list that car if you bought it from a host whose account got banned. So make sure, don't skip this step, take the VIN number, put it in, create the listing. Obviously make sure you snooze the listing right away so somebody doesn't try to book it and then you get hit for canceling. And a lot of people on Facebook Marketplace don't wanna give you their VIN, which is cool. You don't wanna try to press somebody into providing their VIN number, but guess what? As soon as I pull up to check the car, while we're talking about the car, I'm creating that listing with the VIN number that I'm getting off the car. So that's how you do it. That's the nature of the game. So the reason I'm targeting these cheaper cars right now is because I want to stay in that range, that 45 to 55 range. I want to be profitable in that range because I'm realizing that that's the range that people can afford, especially since times are tough and most likely going to get tougher. You want to keep in the range where people are going to be able to afford it. Those higher end cars, those $100 a day cars, those get rented here and there when people got to go out of town or they got to impress somebody. You know, it's like extreme cases like that. Now, it varies per market. I'm just speaking for my market and probably most markets across the states. But that price point where I discuss is the sweet spot. People keep the car, they keep it for longer. I'm in the business of making passive income. When a guest keeps a vehicle, I try to do everything in my power to make them keep that vehicle as long as possible. So that's why I'm targeting these cheaper cars. That's why I'm going back to buying Inops. That's why I'm, doing these cash cars. And that's why I'm targeting Hondas and Toyotas, because the reliability factor and the fact that people trust these cars. So just coming on here to drop some game for you guys. I haven't seen you guys in a while. I appreciate the ones who've been rocking with me. I appreciate all the new viewers, subscribers. Make sure you smash that like button. I really appreciate it. Supports the channel. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Put it down below in the comments. If it's anything you're unsure about, or maybe I said something that wasn't accurate, or you feel wasn't accurate, or maybe your market's a little bit different, you want to elaborate, feel free down in the comments. This is a safe place. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not looking to be judged. But as always, I appreciate you guys spending this time with me. I know you could have spent it anywhere else, and I'm glad you're here with me. And I look forward to seeing what the rest of this year has in store. I'm definitely going to be racking on a few more of these Inop vehicles, and I like to keep making videos about that if you guys are interested in that. So definitely stay tuned, subscribe if you're not already. Catch you guys next time around. All right, appreciate it.